Welcome to the Traders Help Desk Online video collection. In this video, I'm actually going to go through two trades that I did this morning on the Euro. Both of them were free money trade setups that we teach in our live trading seminars. The total profit this morning was 122 ticks, and that was trading 3 contracts in 2 different trades. And what I want to do is walk you through each trade. I do have a live video of this on the members only section of the website. So for those that have been to a seminar, then I go through the trades a little bit better. When we made this magenta peak here, I was looking for price to pull back to within 5 ticks of the ATR, and of course it did, and we got an entry on the 1 minute at 33.21. My stop was at 33.13, and we did have the clipper on the chart, and I've got green lines for where I took profits. It hesitated a lot right here, which actually coincided with a high over on the 12 minute, the 45 minute. So I decided to go ahead and take profits with 10 ticks, and I then raised my stop to just 1 tick, and let me take that off for a moment. I raised my stop to 1 tick below this low. So we entered at 33.21. I raised my stop to 33.16. We had taken 1 clipper level. No, I'm sorry, we had taken 1 profit target of 10 ticks. Then we made this isolated low, and we made a new high here. So immediately I raised my stop again to here. And we were looking to get clipper 2 and clipper 3. We did get clipper 2, and then I raised my stop level to clipper 2 during this bar, and of course we were stopped out over here, and that trade resulted in 74 ticks of profit, and we were risking 24 ticks on that particular trade. Then we made an additional ADX peak here. Again, same methodology. We're expecting it to pull back to within 5 ticks of the ATR. Actually pulled back to within, I think it was 7 ticks of the ATR. Actually went in here at 33.48. This was clipper 1, which was 33.64. That is 16 ticks of profit per contract. I was trading 3 contracts, so it resulted in 48 ticks on this one trade. And again, the stop was at 33.40. Once we had made this low here, we then made a high here on this bar. I just immediately raised my stop, so I was down to about 3 ticks of risk on this particular trade. Now, what is a free money trade? Well, free money trade is really pretty simplistic, as long as you make sure all of the criteria is met. And let me get rid of all of these lines so that I can show it to you. What I would call a perfect free money trade actually occurred on the 1 minute this morning. And this is where we had a magenta peak. It appeared on this bar. We're expecting it to retrace to the ATR. And it actually came to within 4 ticks of the ATR. And as you can see over here, you had the trend went from blue to red, made an isolated low, then it started upwards. By this time, you know you were getting a 0 line reject back into the trend on the 3 minute, expecting it to at least test the previous high. Since this was actually the first free money trade, I knew it would go higher. So we did take 74 ticks out of this run upwards. and then we got the magenta peak here. Now, anytime you, let me go back a minute, anytime you see this magenta peak on the 3-minute, you do have to have bright blue on the higher time frame. And in this case, you see that the 12-minute was bright blue. That means that the ADX is increasing and that buyers are in control. So again, when we made this peak, immediately looked over to the 12-minute, and again you see that the ADX is increasing. Now, when it pulled back to the ATR, it did hesitate, of course, before we got our clipper level on this when the clipper level was set one tick below this. So it was actually at 64 and the high was at 65. Now I opted to take everything off at clipper 1 because the ADX over here was just extremely high. So anytime it gets above 70, I know that I can have a reversal. So I opted to go ahead and take everything off. Now some traders, because it slowed down and you were getting these down bars here, some of you would have opted not to continue with the trade. But if you were reading your higher time frames, the RSI over here on the 45-minute was starting to take off. It had turned bright blue, as well as the 180. So that actually gave me a little bit more confidence to actually stay with the trade and take clipper 1.